So how does a single suicide bombing in Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, suddenly put two nuclear-armed neighbors on a collision course? How did one attack blow up so quickly into a massive diplomatic crisis? Well, let's break it all down.
To really get the gravity of this, you have to understand that Islamabad is supposed to be a fortress, right? It's the capital. So when the deadliest attack in years happens there, it's not just a tragedy. It is a huge security failure that puts the entire government on notice and, frankly, sends a chilling message across the whole region.
And the immediate human toll was just devastating. At least 12 people. We're talking lawyers on their way to court, police officers just standing guard, everyday citizens. They were killed instantly. Dozens more were critically injured. It was just a sudden, brutal reminder of the real cost of this kind of violence.
Okay, so how exactly did a normal morning at a busy courthouse turn into a scene of absolute chaos? Let's unpack the timeline of the attack itself.
So it all went down around midday. The bomber tried to get inside the court complex, but security actually stopped him. But here's the really unsettling part. He didn't run. He just waited. For a good 10 to 15 minutes, right by a police vehicle, right at the crowded entrance. Now think about that. This wasn't some panicked, impulsive act. It suggests a really chilling level of patience and a deliberate choice to cause as much damage as possible, even after his original plan failed.
The attack itself was absolutely brutal, but the confusion that followed, it was just as chaotic. Who was actually responsible for this? And why were the official stories so conflicting right from the get-go?
You know, while security did stop the bomber from getting inside the courthouse, which was probably his main target, it obviously didn't prevent the tragedy. By setting off the device at that crowded gate right next to a police vehicle, the attacker still managed to cause maximum devastation. He essentially turned a security checkpoint into the epicenter of the blast.
And this is where the picture gets really murky. Almost immediately, a splinter group of the Pakistani Taliban, Jamaat al-Ahrar, said, yep, that was us. But at pretty much the same time, the main TTP leadership came out and publicly denied having anything to do with it. Now, this isn't just simple confusion. It points to some really deep cracks within the Taliban itself. Maybe it's a rogue faction trying to make a name for itself, or maybe it's a deliberate strategy to create chaos and give themselves plausible deniability.
But before the dust had even started to settle in Islamabad, the fallout from this blast was already crossing borders. This wasn't just about terrorism anymore. Oh no, it was about to become a high-stakes diplomatic showdown between Pakistan and India. Pakistan's response was immediate and, frankly, stunning. The Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, didn't hesitate. He went public, calling the bombing one of the worst examples of Indian state terrorism. It was a huge accusation, and it's so important to note that it was made without any public evidence to back it up at the time.
As you can imagine, India's reaction was just as fast and just as forceful. An official spokesperson fired right back, calling the allegations baseless and nothing more than a desperate ploy. And just like that, with that sharp exchange, tensions between the two nuclear-armed neighbors went through the roof.
So, let's recap. We've got a deadly attack, conflicting claims about who did it, and a diplomatic firestorm. But to really understand why this one event matters so much, we need to zoom out and connect it to the bigger picture. See, this attack didn't happen in a vacuum, and that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. It came during a major surge in militant activity, and this is critical, just one day after a car bombing in Delhi. With tensions already sky-high, this bombing in Islamabad was like throwing gasoline on an open fire. It immediately triggered a massive investigation to untangle a web that could, potentially, connect both of these attacks. So this leaves us in a really precarious spot. You've got investigators scrambling for answers while politicians are trading blame, and all the while, the stability of a nuclear-armed region is hanging in the balance. The question isn't just who was behind this one attack anymore. The real question is, what happens next? And you can be sure the entire world will be watching to find out.